Welcome back to the next episode in Helix Amps Revisited. And today I'm going to take a look at what became my favorite Marshall style amp in the Helix as soon as it was added to our HX Stomp and Line 6 Helix. And I am talking about the Brit Trem series of amps. Now we have the Bright, we have the Normal, and we have the Jump. Now my main live preset has always been based off of the Brit Trem Norm. I just love that amp. It's got more of a vintage vibe to it. I find maybe not as brittle on the top end as some of the other Marshall style models we have. And this just sounds really great to me. So I wanted to expand out. And as of today, I have available my new Plexi Trem Jump preset on the Line 6 Marketplace. It's a full featured 4-snapshot preset, chock full of effects. It's really a useful preset. Will do really nice to play an entire night, from everything from fairly clean all the way up to lead tones. And I'm really loving it. Today, we're going to take a look at how I dialed in one of the snapshots that's going to be extremely close to the one you get with the Line 6 Marketplace preset. And this is just the push kind of edge of breakup tone. I was really loving this tone, utilizing this Brit Trem. So I'm going to have the links below to the free preset we create today, and also to the Line 6 Marketplace preset, which will be available at the time this video comes out. So without further ado, let's dive right over to HX Edit, take a look and see how I built this stripped back single snapshot version. And later in the video, I'm going to play you an audio demo, full mix, utilizing all the various snapshots from the full-blown Line 6 Marketplace preset. So let's head over to HX Edit and take a look. All right, here we are over in HX Edit. You can see I have my very typical little template that I utilize. Starting at the end, we have LA Studio Comp, pretty typical settings for me, just to get a very tiny bit of gain reduction. Again, I hear comments all the time that, oh, this destroys the sound. And as I mentioned in the last video, if this is destroying your sound, you're not using it right. It should be a very subtle effect. You know, if you turn it off altogether, some folks might not miss it, some folks might miss it. I like the subtle little effect that it has, kind of gluing all the elements together. That's why I put it after the reverb and the delay and everything, just so everything kind of gets mashed together. But like I said, again, extremely subtle. I'm only going for anywhere from 1 to 2 at the tops, 3 dB of gain reduction, but usually in and around the 1 to 1.5 area. I have my normal parametric EQ, again, as usual, not really being used for anything. It's just there in case I want to make some changes to this in a particular situation. But I do have my low and high cuts on, 100 hertz, 12 kilohertz, pretty standard stuff. Nothing too shocking there. Moving on, I'm using the dynamic ambience at my favorite settings, the 12-meter room size, the shape at late 100, mix at 40%. These are all pretty typical things that you see in most of my presets. Coming over to low and high shelf EQ, again, setting it at my favorite places. I do move the low and high frequency sometimes when I feel it warranted, but I find these settings just give me everything I need for quick on-the-fly adjustments if I do need to brighten up a tone, maybe darken it up, or remove a little bit of low and some mud, or add some fullness to it. I can do that with this, and that's why I include this in all of my presets, so we can make very intuitive moves rather than having to go to the cab and move the microphone around, which maybe won't be the most intuitive way. This gives us a way of knowing that we can just come into our high gain or low gain and have some really cool subtle tweaks in a particular situation. But I do like the way that this ended up. Low frequency at 650 hertz, high frequency at 650 hertz. All the frequencies below 650, cut by 1 dB, and all the frequencies above boosted by 3 dB. That brings us to the cab. I'm using one of my favorites, the 412 Greenback 25, again with this 4038 ribbon mic. Anybody who has used this mic knows it can be a bit of a problem sometimes. It's a very dark, woolly, boomy sounding mic, but it also has something really nice in there when we can use it in conjunction with the low and high shelf EQ. It accepts EQ very nicely. So I went with the position on the cap edge, distance of 3.5 inches, no low and high cut because I dealt with those over here. And I did not angle the mic. Bringing us to the amp. So like I said, this is an edge of breakup style tone. This is going to be the bright and normal channels jumped together. I have the bright drive at 5, normal drive at 4, bass at 0, probably a lot to do with the fact that I have the 4038 mic on it. The mids at 10, treble at 10, channel volume at 6, presence at 10. So all the other tone stack just cranked, master at 10 as well. Sag, hum, ripple, bias, and bias X, I don't believe I touched. So let's do this. We'll go and we'll turn everything off and listen to just the amp and the cab. And I'm playing one of my favorite guitars, my Gibson SG. So this sounds like this. This probably won't be too good to begin with. Like I said, that 4038 can sound pretty woolly sounding. Let's just bring in the dynamic ambience right away, just to give that a little bit less of that dry in your face tone. really not that bad, but it is dark. If you like that really vintagey dark tone, this might not be so bad. But you might find in a mix it just gets a little lost and needs to cut a little bit more. And that's where our high and low shelf come in. So if we bring this in, you'll hear what that does to the sound right away. Now, some folks might say, well, you shouldn't bother using that, and you should have just gone over here and used like a SM57 or something along those lines. But if I do that, I really don't like that. It's not the tone I'm looking for. There's something I really bothers me about what the 57 does a lot of times. I know it's a classic mic, but it's just not for me. That has some nice, beautiful warmth to it. We can just take the shelf EQ and make it perfect. And then if we bring our high and low cuts into the picture, it's even going to work on the neck pickup. Now, if I've taken all of these tweaks out on the neck pickup, see how kind of woolly that is, and I don't really like what's going on there. I bring these in. Gives us a really usable tone. Back to the bridge pickup. And then finally, the very subtle little LA Studio comp at the end. So there you have it. I hope that shows all those little tweaks I make, how they really help to mold that sound. And it's going to help it sit in a mix either live or in the studio. So speaking of that, let's take a listen to how the various snapshots from my full-blown Plexi Trem Jump Ultimate preset that's available at the Line 6 Marketplace right now. Let's hear how those various snapshots work together in a mix over a full rhythm section. right, what do you guys think? I hope you enjoyed that. As I mentioned before, the free preset is available at my website at the link below, and the full-blown, full-featured Marketplace preset is also available at a link below at the Line 6 Marketplace, and if you're so inclined, you can go grab that, and I really hope you enjoy playing through it as much as I do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and sharing your time with me. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it, and also please subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Ciao for now.